Welcome to your doom. Shut it and get over here. Massive uppercut!
Hello and welcome to another edition of the JabJab Show. Today it's a pickups video. Yes, I've got various things to pick up, plus a big box thing which suggests so in the thumbnail picture. But first, there's just a few games here. Just like I say, there's not many games or anything, not too many expensive things. There's one particular expensive thing, but I think at the moment is I've just changed jobs, and the money situation not too great at the moment until the kind of new job starts the paydays and all the rest of it. So as a result, nothing too fancy here apart from one particular thing, which I'll move on to when we get there. Okay, so the first thing, first game I've got is just a pick up of a NES game. I'm not sure what's coming up. It's Silent Service. I just played this years and years ago. Silent Service is a submarine game. It's a strategy kind of thing, and it's pretty good. Nintendo 1985. I didn't know it was that old actually, but yeah, cart only. So Silent Service, good stuff if you like your strategy games and what have you. Okay, so the next lot of games are for the Commodore VIC 20. Now that was a computer that I showed in a couple of weeks or so ago. I did a little review of my new games room kind of thing, and on there was a computer called the VIC 20. Now the VIC 20, for any of you who don't know, is the computer that came out before the Commodore 64. It came out I think 1980 and it was discontinued in 1985. So it ran kind of head to head with the Commodore 64, but obviously if you know, the Commodore 64 was a lot more successful. But anyway, I said in that video, I've got a computer. I got it from Charity Shop a while back. I had no games with it, so I went out onto eBay and seen any bundles going on, and there was a bundle going on, and so I bought it. It's only a few pounds, probably about £3-4 or something. So this is what I've got. This is all tape based, much like the Commodore 64. Looks like the actual computer looks like an old style Commodore 64. I mean, the one I used to have, the one I inherited, but now I've got a different one. The other one looks more like an Amiga. It's bigger keyboard, and it's got a separate data cassette recorder as well, like the VIC 20. Anyhow, so I've got some games. This one. This side is okay. This side is okay. I'm guessing that one isn't. I don't know. Anyhow, this one is, according to the side, a game called Race Hop It, or it could be Race Hop It Type Tune Blitz, as in like you got 4 games on there. So don't know if they're any good, but we'll find out. Next one is Hangman and Quiz 3 to 7, and Test Card. Test card, I don't know. Testing the card, I don't know. So you've got like various things there. Hangman, I'm guessing, is the you can play on paper and stuff. So this is this, because it's an old system, it's not going to have too many fancy things going on. Anyhow, the next one, Crazy Kong. There you go. Is it showing up? Maybe a Donkey Kong clone, Donkey Kong derivative. I've not really looked into these games before. Crazy Kong, that could be a Donkey Kong thing, so that'd be interesting to look at, that one. Next one I've got is Reaction and Quiz 8 to 12. Now I don't know if 8 to 12 and the other one 3 to 7 it's the age range, just kind of skill involved. You've got to be maybe you have to be 9 to play it, or 8 to 12 at least. Anyway, I've got this anyway. Reaction and Quiz 8 to 12. Okay, so the tape says something different, but we'll see. Yeah, okay, we've got that. And the one that, apart from Crazy Kong, is this game that really kind of sold me, because Codemasters, made a game for this called Ghost Hunters. Who are you going to call? Ghost Hunters? No, that's not the right tune. Anyway, Ghost Hunters. Codemasters, weird. I don't know. It features voice synthesis, so that'll be interesting. See what the voice synthesis is. And the back of that is showing up. So it looks like could be a platform of some kind. It looks like, you know, I don't know if they're the actual Spectrum screenshots. So they're Spectrum screenshots. So I don't know what the VIC-20 looks like. But here's the description. Here it is. 1 minute. It's got the labels torn off that one, but I was just gonna, you know, assume it's Ghost Hunters because that's what was advertised. Anyhow, the instruction, the blurb on the back says, Hunt Studbuckle's brother is trapped in Nightmare Mansion. He must destroy the spirits of evil if they are to meet this side of hell. Does he fail or succeed? His fate is up to you. So, you know, so there you go. That's them ones. Okay. And now, what has been advertised on the thumbnail. Big heavy box now. Okay, as I mentioned, as it says also as well, this system is not what I would call retro, but it could be. You know, it has potential to be. That might sound a bit weird. Basically, yeah, going back to my games room view kind of thing I did a couple of weeks or so ago. It is a console. It's a box console. So before I went on to concentrate a little bit more on games on that video, I panned up and, you know, showed various box consoles in my collection kind of thing. And there's one in particular that I didn't have on there. Whether you've seen the video or not, I don't know. But, you know, one particular video I haven't got. So this is more of a completionist kind of thing for me. Let's say it's not as much, you know, but, you know, I'm not gonna say too much at the moment. So it's in a big box. This is what it came in. I got a knife. Be a responsible parent, adults, whatever, before you you know, open this, and you don't want to be all blood everywhere and police knocking on my ass. And I'm not advising you properly to open the box. So anyway, so I might cut this a little bit out to make it safer. So I'm going to use this knife. But that for these people who are stressed out there. Now actually the box for the console is quite big, so, you know, this box don't like sounds just seems so daft at the moment. So here we go. I got me a bit heavy than I thought. A PlayStation 3. Now, pretend is it 2006 when it came out? I don't know. Pretend it's 2006 when I open this. Just get that big box out of the way. I don't want to nudge the camera. Okay. Now this PlayStation 3. It's got 40 gig internal hard drive, which I don't think is that's not great. And you can get when Sony came out with this, it's something like £400 because it used the Blu-ray technology. And when this came out, Blu-ray was still in battle with HD DVD. You know, and the format wars of HD, high def format wars we had, which is for a separate video perhaps, you know. But basically, yeah, this was very expensive when it came out with the PS3. I remember because the PS2 is really successful. A ton of games for it, and it sold loads and loads and loads. I think before the Wii, the PS2 was the highest selling console, I think, like, ever. Something, it did ridiculous amount of stuff anyway. So the PS3 come out and it kind of stalls for ages and ages because of the price. I think mainly because of the price, not so much the games. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know too much about it because. So yeah, this come out PS3 and it comes in various sizes of the hard drive, much like the Xbox 360. And Sony brought out a 12 gig version of the console, which to me is ridiculous. And, you know, on the face of it, you know, how much could you store with 12 gig? The answer is probably not a lot, you know. Anyway, so this is 40 gig one, that's all I'm saying. Now I'm going to open the box. Now the deal breaker for me for this was, it's got all its internal, I don't know if that's showing up. Oh, it's got all its internal packaging boxes. I don't think the all the weird little Quaver type things are gonna be the original. I'm gonna get rid of them, but it's well packaged and I thank the seller for doing that. Now, as you'd probably imagine, the PS3 and Xbox 360, that generation of things, they're fairly cheap now. I bought this for 60 odd quid. with no games, but you know, it's the thing for me. Like I say, it's got a box and internal packaging, which you know, I think I might have mentioned on that video when I showed you the consoles and that. They're all boxed. Well, most of them boxed with internal packaging, so I can store them, stack them up, and all the rest of it. I don't want to stack too many up at one because it all pushes down and so forth. Even if you've got all the internal stuff, but I'll say that was that was a deal breaker for me. Now, like I say, I didn't have any games with it, so I went out and got some games with it. Okay, so these are separate purchases. These are, you know, but this is pretty good. Heavy Rain, the movie edition. I think it's referencing PlayStation Move. Okay, which is a thing I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in motion control stuff. But you know, these games are pretty cheap in and of themselves. I say Heavy Rain is supposed to be pretty good. The Origami Killers left us sitting in panic. So you were intrigued with that. So there we go. I say these aren't. This isn't a retro game in my eyes, but Uncharted, there's a bunch of these, isn't there? Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and I think there's 4 on the PS4, and you can get the Nathan Drake collection, which is 1, 2, and 3. But anyway, the PlayStation 3 versions are this is pretty cheap, like a couple of quid or something, seriously, well cheap. It's reminiscent of Tomb Raider, and you know, so I've heard it's supposed to be pretty good, so I've got that. And you know, for me personally, you can't get a system like this without getting a FIFA game. So I've got this game. This costs 99p. You know, so FIFA 13 probably not being supported online anymore. So I don't know what single player is. I'm guessing it's quite comprehensive. It's just if you want a multiplayer, play online, you won't be able to do it with FIFA 13. It's probably stopped support for that a while back. Also, last but not least, what a racing game. What a game that's kind of harks back to kind of early titles and stuff from earlier PlayStations. So I've got Ridge Racer 7. Looks lovely. Looks good. And it's got all the writing on there. This is £3.50. Ridge Racer. This actually cost me less than it cost me for Ridge Racer 1 for the PS1. But anyway. So yeah, the games for this is quite cheap. Obviously, you'll now and again, the odd ones won't be, which is the same for every system. They'll have like expensive rare games and expensive games for whatever reason. Now, I'd say this console, in my eyes anyway, isn't retro, but it has a potential to be in terms of like, I don't know. I'm guessing maybe it can still get online with this. Maybe the Virtual Console, whatever it's called for the PS3, is the same for the PS4 in terms of the games you can get and so forth. But you know what I'm asking people out there to tell me is you know, what games, you know, in hard copy in disc form are kind of not so much just you know, a long line, you know, one game in a long line of series that's been going on for several consoles or generations and stuff, like Ridge Racer 7. Let's say the first one's on PS1, which just any games that are retro inspired, any kind of old school kind of shooters, platformers, that kind of thing, which you know, you could recommend and what have you. You know, also in terms of the Virtual Console, I'm saying I'm not very well up on the Virtual Console side of things for the PS. Well, yeah, for PlayStation stuff. So just I can do a bit of research, but you know, just anyone who's got any kind of recommendations online, you know, I prefer original software, but you know, anything that's probably too expensive, like hilariously expensive on, like, you know, in disc form, that it's on the Virtual Console, which is cheap and it's a nice shoot 'em up or beat 'em up or something. Anything like that, you know, it's all you know, all that down there, all the advice, any recommendations, all down there. Just, you know, just let me know down below in the comment section, all this kind of thing. Also, you know, any recommendations for the VIC-20? I don't know if anyone's got one, so let me know if you have any, you know, say recommendations. This is a pretty good deal, the VIC-20 stuff. You know what I got? It's only about £4 or something for these, which is a bargain, like, on the face of it anyway. So anyway, any advice for the VIC-20? Any advice for the PlayStation 3? Just let me know. You know, I'll fill up another part of my collection with this. So I'm looking for I don't know, other things, but you know, until I get the job money sorted out, the new job money, and get all various things I've had to do, bills wise, to kind of like pay for stuff and whatever. Yeah. Until all that's sorted out, I'm not going to make any any other hilarious purchases. This PlayStation 3 is basically my kind of present to me to celebrate, you know, getting a new job and all that. But that's what it is. Just so thank you for watching. If you got any, let's say, if you got any advice, any recommendations, down there in the comment section down there, up there as well, to say hello, hashtag and modern things like that. Just let me know. Yeah, so just do all that. That'll be really ace of everyone. Like, subscribe, comment if you like this kind of thing, and you know, tell your friends and everything. And in the words of the new Cyrus, send the word.
Swamp.